Hello, plaid men and boys. And a few ladies. My wife's a lady. She does watch this on occasion. So anyways, hello, plaidsters? I have no idea. I'm just making up stuff. Doing another Wheel of Time. So Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 5. Now, real quick, wanted to just start off by saying I'm getting tired. I've been tired. I hate this show so much. And it's frustrating to even watch because I feel like every time I make a comment when I'm watching it, I'm like, why am I even doing this? So I've decided that I'm minimally going to finish Season 2. I understand, I've heard good things that Season 3 apparently has some really awesome things. Mind you, for me, already, Episode 1, Season 1, I was like, you guys have changed stuff. And this episode, now Season 2, Episode 5, is a cacophony of things that are like, not just changes, but like bad, illogical, that doesn't make any sense, even in your own world type of changes. So, anyhow, I feel like it's only fair to finish Season 2. I'm sorry it has taken so long. I just don't care about this show, and I would much rather spend time doing other things. Plus, I have a new baby, so it's like, that's kind of my priority. He's almost a month and a half, so between my normal work and baby time, not a lot of extra time. Plus, I'm working on starting a podcast with a friend and mentor of mine, and then also I'm working on a script, like a film script. Ideally more than one, but start with one. So stuff and things. It's a little bit busy, and I might even have a new job soon, which is good. Pay more, a little bit more chill. Hopefully I won't have to also work on the weekends because that's my current status. So basically I'm working like 7 days a week, roughly. Not to complain, but it's just, it's a little busy. Anyhow, Season 2, Episode 5. Sorry, that took a lot longer than expected. I know this is silly, but I kind of wish they had like some scroll when there's a city, and I don't know what the city is. It's not like overly whatever. If they said the name of the city and then had it like float away like in the wheel, the wind and the Wheel of Time, which is something I just realized that's part of every book, is there's this beautiful monologue, and this wind goes through the Wheel of Time, like the winds of change, if you will. And there's this kind of thing that happens in the beginning of the books, and they totally dropped it and didn't do it. And it's kind of a weird thing because I would have liked that, but they didn't do it. I just realized that they didn't do it. Anyhow, but going back, it would be nice if we're in a new place if they said the name of it, because otherwise you're gonna have to say it through exposition or whatever, and I don't know where it is. Like, unlike in modern movies when they're like showing what's clearly New York, and they're like, if you've never seen a movie before, here's New York. And it's like, well, we all know what New York is, but okay, fine. Some people are more irritated by now, but I think it would be a nice thing. Anyways. Okay, so this is weird. The Forsaken in the show, they're having them just kind of out and about. Almost like blatantly, obviously the villain, the bad guy. Now, they're not saying, hey, I'm a Forsaken, hello. There's still some subterfuge, but in the books, it was so much better done because nobody knew that they were Forsaken. Nobody knew at all. And even the Forsaken's meanings, Forsaken are like, there's the Dark One, and then 12 or 13 Forsaken, and then all of the Dark Friends, which are varying levels of people who follow the Dark One but are not powerful or whatever. And they can be anyone. They can be Aes Sedai, they can be a queen, king, or a peasant. Anything in between. But in this, they just kind of have like Ishamael, one of the main Forsaken, just kind of hanging out with the Sea Ancient, like overtly out and about. And it's just weird to me, and I don't like it. And I feel like it actually kind of takes away from their power, especially in comparison to what it was in the books, because in the books, they had subtle command over like whole countries, whole nations. And in this, it's like, oh, they're kind of like an assistant to some other person who's on the come up. or they would just like have people do things, and it wasn't as like overt and directly in your face. And this just feels, I get it, it's a show and yada yada yada. It just feels like bad writing. Like instead of having them kind of be behind the scenes, they're like, no, we want them like front and center. And I'm like, okay, I don't like, but all right. So I did kind of think it was interesting with Seanchan. They have these long nails and cut them off and yada yada yada. I mean, I know it was in the books, and frankly, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's just, again, Seanchan have showed up way too early. We know way too much about them. We're supposed to view them through the lens of people we care about. Like, for the most part, in the show, when we find out about stuff, it's because of the main people. So, Rand, Perrin, Matt, and then the ladies, Egwene, Nynaeve, and later Elaine. So that's kind of, and then there are some other stuff, like little subtle things, but those are kind of the main people who push the story. And this, they just kind of like, meh, it's just, I want to show you this thing, so I'm going to show you this thing. And there's some of that in the books, but the way they're doing it in the show just feels kind of lame, not well conceived. So anyways, but I did like the nails. I thought it was interesting. I think it's a little different from the books, but that's pretty much everything. I'll stop saying it. Oh, there's an interesting like box in the Horn of Valyr is in, and that they just give to this guy, and he just opens the box and doesn't blow the horn, which is like fascinating and weird. But to me, I'm just like, okay, that's a really fancy looking box. How did you do that? And it could just be with magic, so there's that, but they don't explain it. And to me, it just felt extra because it should just be in a hefty box. And it's also weird that the guy who's never seen this box before just knew how to open it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I love how Moiraine finds Rand and then just kills Lanfear because she's just amazing and knows how to use a sword, even though she's probably never used a sword in her life because she's always had Lan, her warder, there. But this whole storyline is super weird with her, so... But yeah, she's just amazing with sword now. Like, super skilled. Okay. Okay, then we go to, like, Perrin and Elias. And, like, Elias's parents like, oh, what do you miss about humanity? Because you're, like, alone all the time. He's like, I miss beer. Drinking by yourself is just not so much fun, or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Elias goes and hangs around with the gypsies of the book a lot. So, like, he can have beer whenever he wants. Not whenever, but, like, he has beer and company. That's not his thing. His thing is he can't hang out with, like, can't be in part of normal society because he's, weird and outlandish. So it just felt kind of like, okay, that's lame. Okay, then there's this weird thing. I said random guy, and then a second later, it's like, oh, he's a White Cloak. But he, like, sees Perrin's ring, and he's like, oh, let's Two Rivers work. And understand, Two Rivers is, like, there's the boondocks, and then there's further than the boondocks. So they don't have Two Rivers work that you'd be like, oh, yeah, I know what that is, because you guys are, like, a major trading hub. Like, no, they're out in the boonies. They don't have a major trading hub. This guy would not know about that. And that's the problem that this show frequently messes up on, is sense of scale, sense of where the heck you are, where is it in relation to anything else. It's hard to follow in the books, and they've given no effort whatsoever to show any sign of anything in this thing. But again, they've changed everything, so okay. Oh, yeah, another thing that irritated me is their magic system. Like, sometimes you have to do this whole, like, song and dance to do stuff, and then other times you just, like, wiggle your eyes, or sometimes nothing at all. You just stare or say something. And I'm like, guys, at least with Avatar, the bad movie and the good show, they had a very distinct thing, a dance or whatever, motion to do magic. And in many other books and other stuff, they have a system. These guys have not committed to any sort of system, and sometimes you see the magic happen, and sometimes you just see the effect of the magic, which is very confusing. I don't understand, and I don't like it, so I'd like them to just figure it out. Okay. So this whole Aes Sedai, they made Elaine, who is a Bitch in the show, in the books. She's just horrible. But as far as I can recall, she wasn't a black Aes Sedai. But they made her one. And it was so annoying because it was great in the books because you're like, oh, no, she's just mean and bad just for being mean and bad and power hungry. But then making her, I have to check this. So I'm sure I'm going to finish this video and then remember, oh, I was supposed to do that research. And then I'll go do that research. And the next time I'll be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. But I just think it's kind of weird. And just, they're taking a cool thing that happened in the books where somebody lied about something and then was caught in the lie. And they're Aes Sedai, which they're not supposed to be able to lie. And they're just kind of putting it in here to kind of steal from that awesome moment that happened later in the books, and I just don't like it. Anyways. Okay, so then we have Perrin, and he goes there, and he sees Aviendha. And now this Aiel in a cage really did happen, but totally different people. Aviendha wasn't there, it was somebody else. And it wasn't Perrin, it was Perrin plus other people. And it's just totally different, okay? And then, just to go on this, then they like, he lets her go, and they have this moment. And then there's 10 armed guys. And she's able to, unarmed, having been in a cage all day, hung in a cage all day, like a tiny little cage, she's able to, without stretching or anything like that, or any amount of real water or food, just disarm or kill 10 guys, or maybe 8 because Perrin took out 2 of them. But like, I understand the Aiel are amazing and their prowess is awesome, but it just felt so extra and just woman power amazing. And again, the Aiel are amazing and it's almost realistic. It was just, also the choreography was so bad, the scene was so choppy. Objectively, I was like, I don't even know what's going on. This is so chaotic and not in a good way. So it just felt lame and like super white, women power thing. Okay, then there's this thing where like Moiraine knows about the world of dreams, which kind of sort of not really, she knows about blocking her dreams, which is another thing that she should be able to do, but she doesn't have power because of that whole thing. So, I mean, it's kind of like she would know, but not really. Then we go to the White Tower, and it just seems so, like, frankly, if you read the books, one of the bigger complaints from dudes reading the books is like the female centered chapters are like super lame and boring. In my opinion, in this show, they're just even worse. Like, somehow it's just magically worse. And the Aes Sedai stuff is just like so quaint and dross and like, okay, are you even trying with the dialogue? And like, oh, I heard that you like food. Like, oh my god. Oh, okay. So there's this thing where like Elida, she makes a portal, goes and gives away Nynaeve and Elaine, and I'm like, wait, did she make a portal or did she come out of the ways? Because I feel like she made a portal, and if she did, problem is she wouldn't have access to a portal, but I know Moiraine did earlier, so I'm kind of pissed off about that, but whatever. And then on top of that, if you're gonna make a portal, it wouldn't be like, if this is the ground, your portal wouldn't look like this. It would be from the center mass and open like that, right? It would be like this, because that's how that would work. So I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't like it on multiple elements, but okay. Because when you have portal and people who know how to do portals, it totally changes everything. trade and like it just think about it for a sec. Hey, how would our life currently, right now in the world, how would our life be different if we had portals? And I maybe I'll make a video about that because this is a fascinating concept. But like, you know, maybe like a what if in general of like, what if we had unlimited energy? What would be the situation on that? Or whatever. What if we didn't have problem with food? Or whatever. Anyways, side note, sorry. All right. Yeah. Because the ways is a whole certain thing. And it seemed like they were in the ways. So I'm hoping that's it. But that's the other thing is if they had gone through the ways and that's how she came and met with the Seanchan, then I have a problem because the ways is like a very certain thing. How it opens and closes. And it's a very beautiful thing. Instead, I felt like they had this really cheap like CGI meh, green screen meh, lack of creativity meh, and it just looks lame. Okay, and then there's this weird scene where like Perrin is with Avienda and they're kind of just talking and it looks so forced and fake and lame, and the conversation's kind of meh. Interesting, kind of, sort of, a little bit of insight on to the Aiel, which is okay. But weirdly enough, the fire looked fake. Like, it looked like they had a CGI fire. And I'm like, why didn't you guys just have a real fire? Like, did you shoot this on a green screen? Is that why? Like, it just looked kind of weird. So, there was a scene that I did like with Ishamael, and he's, like, asleep. And weirdly enough, he's, like, cozying up with Rand. You don't know he's asleep, you know, whatever. And you can almost feel like he's going to kiss Rand in his sleep. And then all of a sudden, Rand is actually Lanfear. And they have this interesting dialogue and tit for tat and back and forth. And generally, it's one of my favorite scenes in this episode. It's a decent scene. Not great, considering what it could have been. But, like, all things considered, it was like a ruby in the rough. So I guess there's that. Here's the weird thing. When Elida brings these two powerful women, the Seanchan, who would have known what she's doing because they were prepared for it, would have collared these three powerful women like instantly. And there was a thing where Nynaeve and Elaine escaped. And Egwene didn't. So, like, I applaud that they kept that and that was good. But how they did it was just like, what? No. It was done well in the books. How you guys did it was lame. What the heck? Why can you not just follow some basic stuff? Like, just copy the homework. That's your point. And they don't. They're like, I'm going to copy it, change it so it's worse, and then pass it off as your homework. It's like, why just copy paste? What the hell? Anyways, oh, then the collar is very much, it's just a collar. Like, think of a silver, almost sleek collar, and it clasps in a certain way that's kind of nifty, but basically it opens and then go around and it goes like that. And there's a leash that has a thing where you can slide on your wrist for collared women. Like, that's the whole point of it. So, but no, it's like, oh, it's this other weird thing, and then it like transforms into this whole thing, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys just can't fucking help yourself. And it's so annoying. Then we're at the thing where Moiraine's like, hey, we're just gonna stay here in this town where I'm talking to my sister, and we're like super duper close, which is weird, and her sister's son, and then we're just gonna stop by and use Rand as bait to attract Lanfear and then do something. And I'm like, oh my god, this show, I can't. Oh, there was something else. I think I might have already said it, but just to say it again. Elida, who's the red sister, and she's a BITCH, it is so insane to me that she has a kid. Because I don't remember any Aes Sedai having children. Like, it's just not done. If they have children, it's more often than not, they are kicked out of the tower because now they can't really Like, maybe it has happened. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like super rare. Like, think of it this way: if you saw the Dune movie or read the books, the women in Dune are like Aes Sedai, but the opposite. So instead of breeding and doing this whole system, they do the opposite. The Aes Sedai are like, we don't breed with anyone. We are separate. We are removed from and above everyone. So it doesn't make sense. And it further doesn't make sense when you consider that she's a red, which means she hates men genuinely. She doesn't have a warder and doesn't like men. Again, that's kind of their whole shtick. And they go around hunting guys who have the power. So what? Like, I'm sure we're going to find out that she had some lesbian lover and somehow they had like a surrogate child, and I'm sure it's going to be something stupid like that. Anyhow, hate the show. Can't wait to have it over with. But thank you all for listening and watching. I love you all. Plaid Man out. Talk to you soon.